Hey guys, this is Clifton Savage. We're here at the Career Connection Career Fair in Virginia Beach. The reason we're here today is I want to learn what attracts employees to quality employers. Right, I talk all the time about helping employers be more efficient, be better leaders, but what do employees truly want and what do they look for in quality employers? So that's what we're doing today as we have job seekers coming through looking for new opportunities. I'm going to stop a couple of them and ask them a couple questions to see what they look for and value the most in looking for a quality employer. Lynn, putting money and benefits aside, what would attract you to apply at an employer?
I would want to apply to work somewhere where the people that I work with are honest, and I want to work with them, not for them.
So wanting to work with them, can you explain that a little bit more?
When I say work with somebody, I mean we're all pulling the same amount of weight, we're all doing the same work, nobody's doing less than somebody else.
If you put money and benefits aside, what attracts me to an employer is the challenge. I need to be challenged in a workplace. I need to have upward mobility, and I need something that I'm excited to come in and work at every day. I need to solve problems, but that's me. Not everybody likes that.
So for me, what I think is really going to make me dig deeper into the application process is if I can move up in the company and if I see myself being happy there. Because I've done some jobs where I'm there and I'm not too exactly happy about it, and when you feel like every day is work and not like you're kind of enjoying yourself, it becomes a little too much.
Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is the entire diversity, inclusion, belonging, but more specifically, I want to know where people who are not your stereotypical, no offense, white man, where they fall in the company, because a lot of times you'll see that, oh, we are diverse, we have, whatever, 14%, let's say African Americans, but everybody, this happened to me once at a place I worked at. I was excited to see so much diversity when I walked in the door, but then I found that, I was mostly seeing like cafeteria workers, janitors, not really people who are in positions of power. And so it's not just a matter of do you have diversity, but where are the diverse people within the company? Do they have power? Do you just have somebody who is a head figure, for diversity, or do they actually have a budget and staff, and are they actually making lasting changes within the company? So that's what's really important to me.
First impressions mean a lot, and I hear that being stated a lot on the employee side of things, but I feel like that's also just as valuable for employers, because the impression that they leave also leaves a very, very strong imprint on your mind and can kind of vex your judgment, even if it is a good opportunity and it is a right fit for you. If you feel like you're getting faced with some sort of disrespect or less than a human type of situation, no one's going to want to work there,
The thing that's going to attract me the most to a potential new employer is their engagement with me. If I feel like they have my best interests at heart, if I feel like they're going to take care of me, then that's going to encourage me and motivate me to take care of them in the business sense. So I think that'll be the most important thing if we have money and benefits to the side.
So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most important, how valuable is training to you when you come into a new company?
When I come into a new company, I think that training is of the utmost importance, because how else am I supposed to get the job done if I don't know what I'm doing?
It's a 5. I would say training is absolutely a 5. With the caveat that the training is not menial, demeaning, or a waste of my time. It's the same with meetings or really anything involving work. If it's something that is going to detract from my workflow or the actual mission, it's a waste of time.
So training to me, how important it is, would probably be like a 4 or a 5. Because I ask a lot of questions, so I like to know what's going on. So for me, I'm going to ask everything I can to make sure I'm doing the best, because I don't want to go out there and not know what I'm doing. So for me, it's really important that I do know what I'm doing. So for me, it's like a 4 or a 5 for sure.
Oh, it's definitely a 5, in terms of training, what's important. Training is definitely a 5 because, you're in an entirely new environment. You have all new people that are around you. I mean, of course, you're coming into the job with some experience, but every company is different. And so taking out the time to provide that training instead of just throwing people into the fire, I think is a very valuable thing to do.
Not necessarily the most important in the world. Moreover, just them being educated upon what I actually know. As long as they take the initiative to touch base and say, like, okay, what are this guy's skills and what is he able to do and what do we need to train him on? That would be the proper approach with that, because I can also see a couple different situations where if you overtrain someone who perhaps is qualified coming into the position, it would irritate that individual as well. So it's a give and take situation.
I want to say 5 because in order for me to do the job that you want me to do in the way that you want me to do it, I'm going to need adequate training. However, there is on-the-job training too. In some situations, some circumstances, you're not going to learn until you're in that situation. So employees have to go into it understanding that aspect of it too. It's not that they, didn't train you for this. It's that some things you can't train for until you're in that situation.
On a scale from A to F, A being the best, how would you rate the most recent training experiences you've had at an employer?
I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to give it a C because our company had transitioned to new ownership, so they brought in people from their corporate to conduct training, and it was okay. There was a lot to go over, but they didn't provide us enough time. Those people were only there for 3 days, and we had to learn a completely new system in 3 days. So after they had left, what I had absorbed, I was teaching to my boss and to all the other technicians in the shop, and it wasn't enough. So, solid C.
I'd say about a C. I've had great training on some subjects, but I've had a lot of menial training on subjects that take away from the mission, like I was just talking about. And that waste of time, it inhibits the workflow. It kills momentum. Having to go from working on a project and I got all these great ideas, I'm ready to go. By the way, show up for the meeting and now you're going to get trained on XYZ. Well, that has nothing to do with what we're trying to accomplish here.
So I feel like the normal when it comes to training for me is like you get like the basics, but the rest is more like you're kind of thrown into the fire a little bit. So it's, hey, you're there, like here's the basics, and then the rest you ask some questions, kind of figure it out. And a lot of what I've done is customer service sales stuff, so you're kind of just going on the fly. You don't want to say the wrong thing, but you just got to make sure you're trying to figure it out day by day. So for me, it's just making sure I'm not saying anything wrong, then asking the questions to make sure I'm giving the customer the correct information.
In general, I guess I would give my onboarding experience a C, just because in some instances it's just been like hit the ground running. Like one time I joined a company and they were literally in the middle of moving to a whole nother building. So that was really hectic. But other times I've joined companies and they've had a really nice like onboarding process, like 2 weeks or so, where I'm just getting acclimated, to the company and everything. So overall, I'd give it a C.
Usually an F. It's not like atrocious or outright disrespectful, but I find a lot of onboarding and application processes nowadays are extremely redundant and continually ask for the same information over and over again, when in reality, if they just looked at the resume, they could get literally everything they would need. And I don't know, they're just trying to have you play all these games, put all your data into these databases, and it's way more excessive than it needs to be ultimately.
A to F. A being the best. I would say I've had a C and I've had a B. So I've had some employers that have really good training courses. They will even take you, to conferences and things of that nature to make sure that you're adequately trained. Then I have those that they're still in the process of getting a good training regimen going. So you kind of come in on that and be like, okay, let's do this. So I've seen different standards, but I've never seen anything that's just horrible, should I say.
That's good. For employers listening, they're wanting to improve themselves. What is one piece of advice you'd like to share with them that's constructive that can help them learn how to be better to employees?
Oh man, that's a lot of. So when it comes to just learning how to be better for employees, I think a lot of that honestly comes down to company culture. Because if everybody goes to work every single day and they don't enjoy themselves or so on and so forth, you're going to have a pretty bad company culture.
I would say for employers out there, hello employers, I would say what you mean and mean what you say. Mean what you say. I mean, I know that politics plays a huge role in business and everything, but, I think nothing erodes trust more than a leader, saying all these nice fluffy things, but in reality not really believing in them, in reality not implementing any strategies to meet whatever was said, and not having any data driven sort of mechanisms to make sure that once a policy or once a program is put in place that it actually works. Because there are so many times where money is invested but there isn't anything on the back end to make sure that this is actually functioning the way that it's supposed to be functioning.
Respect goes both ways. Just be respectful to the people that are making you money, and will be willing to make you money.
If you take care of your employees, they'll take care of you.
There you go. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, comment and follow us. We'd be happy to hear from you. If you got any questions, you can tag us or message us. Thank you so much for watching.